Data on the subject. The stolen file.
Jump in 10 seconds.
It details the incomplete process of synthesizing a cure for the virus. If implemented in its current state, the produced substance may be extremely toxic.
Now.
Also, the file contains full description of the virion structure. Any attempt to use it would result in countless lives lost. It must be recovered. Further information. Current status.
Dying Light is the best zombie game ever made. Now, that is quite a statement, considering how many zombie games have actually been made. But let me go over why I think that's the case. So, way back in the day when game development was just starting and people were looking for things to put into games, zombies were kind of like this generic kind of thing that the game developers would use. They're kind of like really easy to program. They shuffle in one direction, they see food, and they want to eat it, and usually humans are the food. And it's nice and simple. So you can see why they've been overused over the years. Zombies are also kind of like pretty predictable. So AI doesn't have to be stellar. So I think Resident Evil is probably the most famous zombie series out there, and for good reason. The games are amazing. I remember, I think I was 18 when the first game came out. I had my PlayStation 1, and I think I played Resident Evil 1 3 times that winter. Just absolutely loved going through it, and survival horror became a thing. Now, you can have too much of a good thing, and I think zombies had overstayed their welcome in gaming. They'd just been overused so much with the same idea over and over again. I think gamers were looking for something new. Now, I think Techland had been in some type of dispute or difference of opinion with their publisher, so they went off from Dead Island and they created Dying Light. So in essence, Dying Light becomes like a fusion of two different types of game. You've got one that's like a free-running parkour simulation, and then the other is a very much more classic zombie situation where you've got zombies coming towards you and you have to engage them. Now, there was a game came out around this time called Mirror's Edge. I remember playing it thinking, this is amazing. I love the free running. I love the way you could like run up walls and stuff and leap off towards a different wall, climbing up drain pipes and stuff. I always wish there was a bit more combat in that game, or they'd like done combat a bit better. And Dying Light, in essence, gave me that wish. Dying Light adds like an extra layer of combat and zombie apocalypse to that formula, and I think that's what we get with Dying Light.
Well done, soldier. I'll open the main pressure gate. Then prepare your eyes for a feast of controlled pyro combustion.
I think I should watch this from a distance.
If you insist, you got 10 seconds.
I found Jeff, and the gas is back on.
That's a relief. Told you, he's irreplaceable.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid you're gonna have to find a replacement.
So the game's progression system works through experience, and you earn that through different activities. Now, it's very much like a Bethesda game in a way, where you actually earn experience through doing the things you want to do. So if you do a lot of running, climbing, parkour, then that will feed into the agility tree. If you do a lot of fighting, that feeds into the combat side, which is the power tree. Now, in addition to power and agility, you've also got the survivor tree. And again, there come some really nice abilities which really change the way you play. You gain the survivor points by doing quests in the city, side quests, rescuing civilians. Sometimes you'll come across like somebody shouting for help, and if you go along and help them clear out the zombies and save this civilian, you'll get some more points. I think the most interesting way to earn survivor points is every so often you'll hear like a large plane flying overhead. If you watch where the drop lands, there's like a supply drop that lands in the city. If you get there quickly, you can get a full drop with some supplies on board and medikits. If you then take them to the tower and hand them into the quartermaster, you'll get a really good bunch of survivor points. So yeah, it adds another element to the game, and it's actually pretty fun to do as well. So as you walk out of the tower for the first time, blinking in the sunlight, you'll notice there are shamblers everywhere. And at first you kind of have to avoid them because you can't really take many on. But as the game progresses and you get more skills, you'll gain like a drop kick, you'll gain like a ram, you'll gain the ability to actually camouflage yourself in like zombie guts, and like camouflage yourself and like go quietly, and even take them down with stealth, which is pretty fun. But also the weapons improve as well in their strength and abilities, and you can also upgrade weapons and add new abilities like lightning, or you can add poison or just bleed effects as well, which is pretty cool. Now, the actual combat itself is really fun once you do engage with it, because they've implemented this really nice like physics system where you can break bones, you can like knock them over, and they do kind of like waddle around as well and get like fall over and climb over cars and things like that. And it just feels like how zombies would move in the real world. Also, there's lots of like dismemberment. You can chop arms and legs off, and then the zombie will be like crawling on the floor trying to get you. They can still get you if you get a bit too close. And the fun part as well is also the whole city is covered in spikes, pools of petrol you can set on fire. Sometimes you'll throw like one of the firecrackers into a pool of gasoline, and it'll ignite and set on fire, and then you'll realize there's like a barrel of explosives nearby, and that'll go up, and it's just like a shower of like zombie gibs, and it's just so satisfying to play. You can tell the developers really had a lot of fun putting this game together, and I've never seen a zombie game look this good. Not just in terms of like graphical prowess, but just having fun with the actual theme of zombies. Like they do break apart, they are very mushy, and yeah, you just have a lot of fun fighting the zombies when you get a chance. Now, everyone's got their favourite things about gaming, but I've got two in particular things I love to do. One of them is swimming in games. Now, you can swim in this game. It's not particularly well done, but you can. There are a few missions where you can like swim down and gather people's things they've lost. You can swim off the coast as well and find different herbs and stuff in the water. But the other thing I like in games is to have a tangible, effective night cycle. So in this game, that is a huge part of the game loop. So as you get nearer to nighttime, you'll see the sun going down, shadows get long, and you'll get this wonderful glow in the sky. And then you'll get warnings from the tower saying like, guys, it's getting dark. All runners get to like a safe area, and then all the safe areas like light up with ultraviolet lights, like beacons in the distance. And then you hear the beep on your watch, and it's nighttime. And that's when the fun really starts, because then you get these volatiles that are coming out. Now, volatiles don't shuffle around like the biters. These run fast. They can outrun you, no problem. They can leap, they can climb up things in like seconds. And if they get hold of you, you're basically dead in seconds. So nighttime becomes this oppressive force all around you. And going out at nighttime is a real risk. But they've also implemented the reward, because at nighttime you get double points. You get like huge points for escaping from a chase. Sometimes you'll be literally being chased by like 10 volatiles, and you're racing towards like the distant UV light, and it's this heart-pounding moment where they're just about to pounce on you just as you get over the fence. And yeah, this game's night cycle is one of the standout features, and I've never seen a game do it this well. It really does make it very tense and adds a ton of atmosphere to the game. So one of the reasons why I am doing this review as a classic review is because Dying Light 3, or Dying Light the Beast, is coming out in a few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, it's worth mentioning that Dying Light 2 has come out, obviously, between these two, and without going on about it too much, Dying Light 2 was a bit of a disaster as far as I'm concerned. It was worse than the first game in probably every single factor. The combat, for example, they removed the X-ray system, so enemies seemed less breakable. They just seemed more like generic enemies you hack and kill, which to me was just like such a weird backstep. But that's the way they did it, and Dying Light 2 just felt like a massive step backwards. Now, the DLC for the first game was great. The following, you could actually drive vehicles, and the story was fairly decent, and it felt like a really nice addition to the main game. So what I'm hoping is that Techland have looked at Dying Light 2, they've seen where they made their mistakes, and they're now going back to where they started and making this third full game, a success. Now, early indications are that's what they've done. I'm hearing some really positive things about Dying Light 3, and the graphics look great. We've got Kyle coming back as well as the main protagonist with some new powers, because he's he's now got some DNA in him that he didn't have before. I won't say any more. So yeah, all in all, it's looking pretty good. I'm very much looking forward to playing Dying Light 3, and I just wanted to quickly review this first game, as it is a very important game as far as I'm concerned. Like I've said, I think it probably is my favourite zombie game of all time, and that's a pretty high accolade. I think a lot of other people feel the same about it. So I think I'll leave it there, guys. I think I've said everything I want to say. This isn't an exhaustive review of Dying Light. I just wanted to cover the basics of why this game was so good, and why you should definitely consider picking it up, especially if you're a fan of action games or open world games, or like combat, zombie, anything like that. This game has you covered, and highly recommended. Maybe in a Steam sale, this game's always like hanging around for like a pretty low price, so you can't go wrong with this. I would personally avoid Dying Light 2. It's got too many issues, I think, to justify playing that. I mean, yeah, this game does everything that game does, but a lot better. So just stick with the first game. I would say ignore the second game, and then let's see how Dying Light the Beast turns out. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I'm going to be moving house in a few weeks, so this might be my last video for a while. But once we get in the new place, get the new studio set up, it's going to be full steam ahead. So I cannot wait to start making new videos on a more regular basis. But yeah, maybe another video in between now and the move. But if not, I will see you on the other side. Hope you're all well. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.